good to see you this morning. I'm not going to say no smoke without fire, because that may not be the case, but once you get these sort of headlines coming forward and these sort of allegations coming forward, even if he's cleared, doesn't it end up tainting him?
I think it does, and it would be the same in any job in particular. Bullying is an awful thing to have in a workplace and shouldn't be allowed and should be dealt with quickly. But I think that we need to wait and see what these allegations actually are, because as we saw previously, the reports of perhaps throwing a tomato aggressively at a bag wouldn't strike me as something that was particularly bullying. That behaviour may not be acceptable to somebody, but I'm not quite sure that it would cross that threshold. It's interesting that another complaint has been lodged, which dates back to 2018, when Dominic Raab was Brexit Secretary. And you do have to wonder why that wasn't reported, or if it was reported, why wasn't it looked into at the time? So I think that we have to be a little bit careful. I don't think we can just be judge and jury on this until we've actually seen the details, because it could be a little bit of hurt feelings. It could actually be severe bullying behaviour. But until we see that detail, I think it's really quite difficult to say whether somebody is guilty or not.
The trouble is, at some point, as Stephen was saying, the name itself becomes toxic. And the Tories have got enough problems at the moment, haven't they? I mean, already in today's newspapers, we've got headlines like "Rising Young Tory MP Joins the Great Red Wall Exodus." Rumours of lots of particularly the Red Wall MPs perhaps already looking for other jobs because they know they're going to lose them.
I mean, this is politics in the round, to be honest. And when you look, there are also, I think, about 12 or so Labour MPs who have decided to stand down at the next election. You always get a natural churn when it comes to election time for many, many different reasons. And it's quite sad when you look at the talent that we will lose, because people have decided that either the job isn't for them, they are young and they want to go and live their lives, and politics does take over. And it isn't the environment for everybody. It is a very male-oriented environment. It's very difficult to be a woman there. It is very difficult to be a young person in politics. So I think that politics is naturally robust in its behaviour. Some people don't take to that very well. I also think that Westminster does need to clean up its act in certain areas when it comes to allegations of abuse and harassment and bullying. But it's a very funny job to have. It takes over your entire life. So I think that we perhaps all need to calm down. We need to look at the cold, hard facts before we start blaming people. But I do think you're right. Once these allegations start coming, it may lead to more. People may feel emboldened to actually say, do you know what? This happened to me and I'd like to report it now. And parliamentarians will have a duty to look at that behaviour. But the ultimate arbiter is going to be the Prime Minister, which is always the failing in the system that we have, is the one person who essentially employs those ministers and those MPs in jobs is the one to decide whether that behaviour is acceptable or not.